Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're demystifying a buzzword we all throw around basically every day: burnout. You know, we use it when we're just exhausted after a long Tuesday. But clinically speaking, true burnout is a highly specific, complex phenomenon that literally rewires your neurophysiology. Today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, how it systematically takes over your mind and body, and how it ripples out into our classrooms, our homes, and our caregiving roles. Let's get right into it.
First off, I want you to seriously ask yourself right now, is the exhaustion you're feeling just temporary stress, or are you actually burning out? It's a huge distinction, because treating true burnout like everyday stress, it's basically like trying to put out a raging forest fire with a garden hose. It just doesn't work. To tackle it, we've got to know what we're actually dealing with.
So here's the deal. Normal stress, the short-term stuff, is actually a good thing in small doses. It triggers that quick fight-or-flight response, giving you the sudden adrenaline you need to hit a deadline or, dodge a speeding car. But when that stress becomes chronic, when the demands literally never stop coming, it morphs into severe distress. And that constant grinding distress is the exact fertile ground where burnout takes root.
Section 1. The Anatomy of Collapse.
Okay, so how does it actually happen? Because it definitely doesn't happen overnight. The Maslach burnout model, which came out of UC Berkeley, by the way, shows us that burnout is actually a predictable three-step cascade. It's a sequence. This framework was a total game changer because it took burnout from being this vague complaint to a measurable, real condition. Let's walk through exactly how these three stages unfold.
It all kicks off with stage 1, emotional exhaustion. And listen, this isn't just needing a nap. This is your energy well running completely bone dry. You sleep 8 hours, and you still wake up exhausted. It's your body's early warning system screaming at you. Tasks that used to be no big deal suddenly feel like climbing Mount Everest. Your body even starts sounding the physical alarm. We're talking tension headaches, tight muscles, or catching every single cold that goes around. Next up, stage 2, depersonalization. Since you literally cannot replenish your energy, your brain steps in and builds a massive defensive wall of cynicism. You actually start treating people, clients, colleagues, even patients, like problems instead of humans. Empathy just feels like a luxury you absolutely cannot afford anymore. And I want to be really clear here. This isn't a character flaw. It is a profound, desperate psychological defense mechanism against totally overwhelming depletion. And finally, you hit the bottom of the spiral with stage 3, reduced personal accomplishment. This is where the illusion of total failure sets in. You start doubting your own competence. Even if all the objective evidence shows you're doing a fantastic job, you just feel like your efforts don't matter at all. Exhaustion fuels the cynicism erodes your sense of accomplishment, and feeling like a failure just makes you even more exhausted. It's a brutal loop.
Section 2. The Classroom Contagion. Now, here is where it gets even more concerning. Burnout does not exist in a vacuum. Research shows it actually spreads, like a literal contagion. There's a direct, documented link between a teacher's emotional exhaustion and a drop in their students' performance. A fascinating study actually found that when teachers are emotionally drained, their students end up with lower class averages, worse standardized test scores, and they just feel way less supported by the school overall. The teacher's empty tank directly limits what they can give to the kids.
And the students? Oh, they're burning out too, especially in high-pressure AP environments. But it's sneaky. It usually shows up as quiet behavioral shifts rather than loud, dramatic meltdowns. We see perfectionism morphing into total paralysis, where they can't even start a paper because it won't be absolutely flawless. We see kids getting frequent headaches or stomach aches right around exam time, totally wrecked sleep schedules, and just a quiet withdrawal from the friends and hobbies they used to love. They're trying harder, but getting way less out of it.
Which brings us to Section 3, the parenting toll.
Because that pressure cooker, it definitely follows us home. When the demands of parenting start vastly outweighing the rewards, we hit some scary territory. An Ohio State University study found some absolutely staggering numbers. 68% of moms, that's more than 2/3, and 42% of dads are currently dealing with parental burnout. This happens when the scale violently tips. And it makes sense, right? Parents today are juggling modern pressures, insane perfectionism, full-time jobs, and they're actually spending way more active time with their kids than previous generations did.
And this matters so much because the ripple effect on children is profound. When parents are operating at the absolute bitter end of their rope, their impulse control just evaporates. Burned out parents are way more likely to snap, criticize, or yell. And the kids? They report feeling way more worried and unhappy as a result. It's this heartbreaking cycle where the parent's exhaustion physically and emotionally isolates the child. leaving them feeling completely unseen and disconnected.
Moving on to Section 4, burnout versus compassion fatigue. If you're in any sort of caregiving role, we absolutely have to clear up a massive psychological confusion. People throw around burnout and compassion fatigue like they're the exact same thing, but they are very different animals. Compassion fatigue is this specific, intense condition caused by the emotional toll of witnessing another person's suffering. It's secondary traumatic stress. It happens when you're constantly exposed to the severe trauma or illness of a patient or a loved one. So here's the critical difference. Burnout is a slow burn. It builds gradually and, weirdly enough, it actually leaves your underlying empathy intact, even if it's buried under exhaustion. It's the logistical weight of caregiving over a long, long time. Compassion fatigue, on the other hand, is a rapid trauma response. It strikes suddenly and completely numbs your emotions. Knowing the difference is vital because you treat them differently. Compassion fatigue hits incredibly fast, but responds well to targeted professional help. Burnout, that requires deep, long-term lifestyle shifts. All right, Section 5, strategies to break the cycle. So how do we actually hit the brakes before we reach total collapse? The good news is we absolutely can, but you have to take actionable steps. Try building tiny 5 to 10-minute micro-rests into your workday just to reset your brain. Use mindfulness to tune in and catch your body's early warning signs way before you hit stage 1 exhaustion. Prioritize those 7 to 9 hours of sleep and eat well to rebuild your biological baseline. But the most important thing? Drop the shame. This is a systemic overload. It is not a moral failing. Please ask for help. Reach out to a professional or a support group. Reclaim your life. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a hard look at your own schedule. Are your current daily boundaries actually protecting your peace, or are they just a sieve, letting stress push you closer and closer to a collapse? Don't wait until the well is completely dry to start making a change. Start small, give yourself some grace, and protect your absolutely most valuable resource, you.